Welcome back, hunters. If you've ever shown up to the woods in November dressed like it's October, or tried to call elk in January using the same technique you used in September, and wondered why nothing worked, then this video is exactly what you need. Today we're doing a deep dive into how hunting completely transforms across 3 seasons: fall, winter, and spring. We're talking gear, tactics, animal behavior, scouting strategies, and the hard-learned lessons that only come from years in the field. Stick with me. This is going to be the most complete seasonal hunting guide you've ever watched. Most beginners treat hunting like a single skill. You learn how to shoot, you get your license, you go out. But experienced hunters know that fall hunting and winter hunting might as well be 2 completely different sports. The animal you're after is not the same animal it was 3 months ago. Its patterns have shifted. Its diet has changed. Its territory may have expanded or contracted entirely. I've seen hunters with 30 years of experience get completely stumped when they moved from their home season into an unfamiliar one. Understanding the why behind seasonal change is what separates consistent hunters from lucky ones. Before we talk tactics, let's talk biology. Animals are hardwired to respond to photoperiod. That's the amount of daylight in a day. As days shorten in fall, hormonal changes trigger the rut in deer and elk. Body fat reserves are being built up. By winter, animals enter a near-dormant conservation mode. They move less, eat strategically, and cluster together. Spring triggers an entirely different hormonal cascade. Territorial behavior, breeding for some species, and frantic feeding after a lean winter. If you understand these biological drivers, you can predict animal movement even in areas you've never hunted before. This is the foundation everything else is built on. Fall is the season most people think of when they picture hunting, and for good reason. It's when the majority of big game seasons open, when the rut makes animals more predictable and bolder, and when the weather is still manageable enough to spend long days in the field. But fall is not one uniform thing. Early fall, say September and early October, behaves very differently from late fall in November. Early fall animals are still in their summer patterns. Feeding heavy, moving mostly at dawn and dusk, relatively calm. Late fall means the rut is either approaching, happening, or winding down. And that changes everything. Know which phase of fall you're in before you even leave your truck. In early fall, animals are focused on one thing: eating. They're building fat reserves for winter and the energy demands of the rut. So your number 1 tactic is to find the food. Find the food, you find the animal. In agricultural areas, that means crop fields, corn, soybeans, alfalfa. In wilderness settings, look for mast crops, acorns, beechnuts, berries. Here's a personal tip from my own experience. I spent 3 seasons hunting a ridge where I kept seeing tracks, but never animals. On year 4, I walked the ridge in August and found a massive white oak loaded with acorns I'd completely missed. That fall, I had deer feeding under that tree every single evening. Scouting food sources in late summer is the single best investment of your pre-season time. As October progresses, you'll start seeing signs of the approaching rut, and if you know how to read them, they're like a treasure map. Scrapes are patches of earth cleared by a buck's hooves, usually under a licking branch. Fresh scrapes will have disturbed soil, wet earth, and strong scent. Rubs are where bucks have stripped bark from saplings or small trees. The height and size of the rub gives you a rough idea of the buck size. And then there are rut trails, packed dirt pathways connecting bedding areas to feeding areas with increasingly fresh sign. I always mark scrapes and rubs with GPS waypoints during my October scouting walks. By the time the rut peaks, I have a map of the local buck's world. Let's talk gear for fall. The foundation is layering, because fall temperatures swing wildly from a 40-degree morning to a 65-degree afternoon. Your base layer should wick moisture. Your mid-layer provides insulation. Your outer layer handles wind and light rain. Avoid cotton entirely. It stays wet and chills you fast. For footwear, I prefer uninsulated or lightly insulated waterproof boots for most of fall. Too much insulation and your feet sweat, which is uncomfortable and carries scent. Speaking of scent, invest in a quality scent control system. Activated carbon clothing, scent-free detergents, and field spray can make or break a rut hunt. And always check wind direction before you set up. I've killed more deer from mediocre spots with perfect wind than from perfect spots with bad wind. One of the biggest tactical decisions in fall is elevated versus ground hunting. Tree stands, whether hang-on, ladder, or climbing, get your scent up and give you a wider field of view. Deer typically don't look up, and being 15 to 20 feet in the air puts you above their natural line of sight and scent cone. Ground blinds, on the other hand, let you hunt in areas without good trees. They conceal movement, and they're significantly warmer, which becomes more important as fall deepens. My personal preference is a climbing stand in early fall when I'm still scouting and moving around, then a fixed hang-on stand in a confirmed location for the peak rut. If I'm hunting with a young person or in bad weather, the ground blind wins every time. Match the tool to the situation. Calling is one of the most exciting tools in the fall hunter's arsenal. Done right, it can bring a buck directly to you in minutes. Done wrong, it educates the deer and ruins the spot for weeks. The basics. Grunt calls imitate buck vocalizations and work throughout the season. Doe bleats appeal to bucks during the rut. Rattling, crashing antlers together to simulate fighting bucks, is most effective during the pre-rut and rut peak. My rule of thumb: call conservatively in early fall, more aggressively as the rut approaches. I start with a few soft grunts, wait 20 minutes, and escalate only if I see or hear a deer that's hesitating. The worst thing you can do is call frantically to a deer that's already walking toward you. I've made that mistake more times than I'd like to admit. The rut ends, and suddenly the woods go quiet. Many hunters pack up and go home. That's a mistake. Post-rut hunting can be excellent if you adjust your approach. Bucks have burned enormous energy and are now focused entirely on eating to recover. They've also become wary again after weeks of reckless behavior during the rut. The tactics shift back to early season food source hunting, but with one key difference. The best food sources now are calorie-dense, easy to reach, and close to bedding. In agricultural areas, standing corn and food plots are magnets. In wilderness, focus on south-facing slopes where browse is still accessible. Start hunting mid-morning rather than dawn. Depleted bucks tend to move later when it's warmer. Patience and persistence in late fall can produce some of the biggest deer of the year. When winter sets in, and I mean real winter, with hard freezes and sustained snow cover, hunting enters its most challenging and most rewarding phase. Animals are under real physiological pressure now. Energy conservation becomes critical. Deer, elk, and other species reduce their home range dramatically, congregating near the best remaining food and thermal cover. This congregation is both the challenge and the opportunity. The challenge is that animals are hyper-aware and stressed. The opportunity is that once you find where they're holding, you know you've found the whole population. Winter hunting rewards patience, physical fitness, and deep knowledge of the terrain. It is not a season for shortcuts. In winter, the concept of thermal cover becomes essential. Animals seek dense conifer stands, spruce, hemlock, pine, where the canopy intercepts snow and holds relative warmth. South-facing slopes receive more solar radiation and often have less snow, making movement easier and browse more accessible. In deer country, this leads to what's called yarding, multiple deer congregating in the same sheltered areas. In elk country, winter herds can number in the dozens or even hundreds. This behavioral shift means your summer and fall scouting spots are often irrelevant in January. You're scouting for a completely different set of features: slope aspect, canopy density, proximity to water, and the presence of concentrated tracks and trails. I want to be direct here. Winter hunting gear is a safety issue, not just a comfort issue. Hypothermia and frostbite are real risks when you're stationary for hours in sub-zero conditions. Start with a proper base layer, merino wool or high-quality synthetic, that keeps moisture away from your skin. Your mid-layer needs to be serious insulation, a 200 weight fleece or down vest. Your outer layer needs to be windproof, waterproof, and quiet. Noise matters enormously when the woods are silent. Wool outer layers remain popular among experienced winter hunters precisely because they're nearly silent even on dry brush. For your feet, insulated waterproof boots rated to at least -20 degrees Fahrenheit, with quality wool socks and hand warmers in your boots on the coldest days. Cold feet end hunts. Never sacrifice foot warmth. Snow is the winter hunter's greatest gift. Fresh snow reveals the entire life of the forest in stunning detail. You can see exactly where deer moved, when they moved, what direction they were traveling, how fast, and whether they were relaxed or spooked. Here's what to look for. A walking deer leaves a relaxed, even stride. A trotting deer shows a longer, bounding pattern. Drag marks in snow indicate a heavy-bodied animal conserving energy. I love fresh snow after a cold night. It tells me everything that moved in the last 12 hours. The skill of track aging, estimating how old a track is based on ice crystal formation, wind erosion, and temperature, takes years to develop. But even a beginner can tell the difference between a track from this morning and one from yesterday. Still hunting is the act of moving slowly, very slowly, through the woods, pausing constantly, using your eyes and ears aggressively, and covering perhaps a quarter mile in 2 hours. In winter, it becomes almost meditative. The key insight is this. Most hunters move 5 to 10 times faster than they should. Deer detect movement at extreme distances. In bare winter woods with no foliage cover, a moving human is visible at 300 yards. The rule I follow is 10 steps, stop, look, listen for 2 minutes. Literally count the seconds. It feels ridiculous. It works. The moment you hear that hoof crack a frozen leaf or see a flicker of an ear between bare branches, and you're already still, is one of the purest moments in hunting. Still hunting requires humility. You have to accept being slow. In deep winter, the nutritional landscape is nearly barren. Animals rely on woody browse, the tips of young trees and shrubs like red osier dogwood, willow, and aspen. Agricultural areas with standing corn or unharvested crops become absolute magnets. Food plots specifically designed for winter hold deer into February and March. Knowing these food sources lets you place your hunting pressure exactly right. One tactic I use every January. I snowshoe through my hunting area looking for browse sign, stripped bark, nipped branch tips, trails converging on shrub patches. Where 5 deer trails converge on a dogwood clump, that's where I set up. It sounds simple because it is. Find the food. Be downwind. Be patient. Short answer. Yes, but differently than fall. In winter, most big game ruts are over, so aggressive sexual calling is pointless. What does work in winter is social calling. Soft bleats, mewing, contact calls that suggest safety and other animals feeding nearby. For predator hunting, which is excellent in winter. Howling for coyotes can be extremely productive as animals are stressed and territorial. One thing that genuinely surprises people. Distress calls work exceptionally well in winter because predators are hungry and will come running to an easy meal sound. I've called in coyotes, foxes, and even bobcats in January using a cottontail distress call. If you've never tried winter predator calling, it's one of the most fast-paced, exciting styles of hunting there is. Winter hunting has real hazards that can turn a good day into a life-threatening situation. Frozen lakes and rivers look solid, but ice thickness varies dramatically, especially in early winter or during thaws. My rule: minimum 4 inches of clear ice for walking, and I always carry ice picks worn around my neck that allow self-rescue if I break through. Hypothermia can set in faster than you expect. Wet clothes and wind at 25 degrees will drop your core temperature dangerously. Tell someone exactly where you're going and when to expect you back. Carry an emergency bivvy or space blanket. I was caught in a sudden whiteout once with 5 miles to the truck, and the space blanket I'd carried for 3 seasons and never needed absolutely saved me that night. Respect the winter. It is not sentimental. Here's the truth about winter hunting that nobody posts on Instagram. It's mostly cold, quiet, and difficult. You will sit for hours and see nothing. You will track a deer for 2 miles and lose the trail. You will be colder than you expected even with the right gear. The hunters who succeed in winter are the ones who've made peace with this. They've stopped measuring a day's worth by whether they got a shot. They find meaning in the tracking, the reading of sign, the knowledge accumulated. I had a winter where I spent 21 days afield and shot nothing. But by the end of it, I understood my hunting area at a level that took me the next 3 seasons to fully exploit. Winter teaches you things no other season will. When spring arrives, the hunting world transforms again. And this time, the change is dramatic and fast. Snow retreats. The ground softens. New growth explodes overnight. Many hunters put their gear away in the spring, and that's a genuine missed opportunity. Spring turkey season is one of the most exciting, technical, and rewarding hunts of the entire year. Spring bear hunting, in areas where it's legal, is outstanding. And spring scouting for fall hunting may be the highest value use of your time all year. Shed antler hunting, searching for the antlers bucks drop after winter, is a sport in itself and a phenomenal way to understand deer movement. Spring is not a break from hunting. Spring is part of the game. Spring turkey season is built around one magnificent fact. Male turkeys are in full breeding mode, and they will come to the sound of a hen. This makes them callable in a way most big game animals are not during hunting season. The basic setup. You locate a roosting tree before dawn, set up within comfortable calling distance, and when the birds fly down at sunrise, you use hen calls, yelps, clucks, purrs, to draw the gobbler to your position. The shotgun or bow shot happens at close range, typically under 40 yards. Sounds simple? The execution is brutal. Turkeys have vision that would embarrass most raptors. They can detect the slightest unnatural movement. They'll approach to 60 yards, hang up, and drum and strut for 45 minutes while you try not to blink. There is nothing like it. Turkey calling is an art form with a real learning curve, but the basics are accessible within a single season. The yelp is the most fundamental call. 3 to 8 notes that mean, "I'm here, where are you?" The cluck is a single soft note of contentment. The purr is a rolling, gentle sound that says, "Everything is fine, come closer." The cutting is an aggressive, fast series of clucks that signals excitement. Use it when a gobbler seems to be losing interest. As for call types, box calls are the easiest to learn and produce loud, clear sounds. Slate calls, pot calls, give the most realistic and nuanced tones once you learn the technique. Mouth calls, diaphragm calls, are hardest to learn but leave your hands free for the gun. My advice: start with a box call, learn the slate, never stop practicing the mouth call. Here's a tip that separates serious hunters from casual ones. The best time to scout for fall hunting is in the spring, right after snow melt. Why? Because the woods are bare of foliage, so you can see terrain features clearly. The sign from last fall, scrapes, rubs, trails, beds, are still visible before the vegetation covers them. And you're 6 months ahead of hunting pressure, so the animals are relaxed and showing you their true patterns. I walk my entire hunting area in April every year with a notebook and GPS. I find the old scrapes and mark them. I find the beds and note their relationship to food sources. I find the terrain pinches, saddles, benches, creek crossings, that funnel deer movement. By the time September arrives, I have a detailed map of the property that most hunters never develop. Shed antler hunting is one of the most underrated activities in the outdoors world. Bucks shed their antlers between January and March, and finding those sheds tells you 3 critical things. The buck survived the winter, you now know his approximate core area, and you have a baseline for his antler size going into the next growth season. Finding sheds requires covering ground, lots of it, in the places deer congregate in late winter. South-facing slopes, cedar thickets, food plot edges, creek bottoms. Walk slowly with your eyes scanning 10 to 20 yards ahead, looking for the warm brown curve of an antler against gray ground debris. A personal trick: I found more sheds by looking for the white of a brow tine sticking up than by looking for the whole antler. Train your eye for that specific shape. In many states and provinces, spring bear season runs from May through June. Bears have just emerged from their dens, they are hungry, and they are highly patentable because they're targeting the first green-up areas. South-facing hillsides where grass and clover emerge earliest, as well as agricultural fields and bait sites where legal. Spring bears have beautiful coats, unlike fall bears whose fur can be rubbed from months in a den. The hunt itself requires understanding bear travel corridors and food sources, patient glassing from elevated vantage points, and careful shot placement. A wounded spring bear in heavy brush is a genuinely dangerous situation. If you've never considered bear hunting, spring season is arguably the best entry point. Spring hunting is where you strip down. You're not sitting for hours in sub-zero cold. You're often covering miles of terrain, staying mobile, reacting to animal locations. Your layering system simplifies. A moisture-wicking base, a light mid-layer for cool mornings, and a packable rain jacket for the sudden spring showers that are almost guaranteed. Footwear shifts to lighter, more flexible boots with aggressive tread. You're crossing soft ground, mud, creek crossings. Rubber boots are excellent for early spring when everything is wet. Scent control remains important for spring deer scouting, but for turkey hunting, turkeys can't smell you, they find you with their eyes. So the emphasis shifts entirely to visual concealment and movement discipline. Weather moves animals, and learning to read weather is one of the highest leverage skills a hunter can develop. In fall, a cold front passing through triggers movement. Barometric pressure drops before the front, rises sharply after, and animals seem to know that the good weather window is closing. Hunt hard the day before a cold front and the first clear day after. In winter, a warm-up after a cold snap sends animals out to feed aggressively. In spring, warm rain brings out turkey gobblers who've been held down by cold. The hunting app on your phone showing a pressure chart is not decorative, study it. I've planned entire hunting trips around barometric pressure trends, and the correlation is real. Animals feel pressure change in ways we can only observe and respect. Scent control is the one discipline that matters in every single season, and it deserves its own dedicated discussion. A deer's nose is estimated to be 500 to 1,000 times more sensitive than a human's. They don't just smell you, they smell what you ate for breakfast, what soap you used, and the fabric softener your hunting clothes were washed in. The basics. Wash your hunting clothes in scent-free detergent and store them in sealed bags or bins with natural cover scent materials. Shower with scent-free soap before hunts. Use scent-eliminating spray on boots and outer layers before entering the woods. And always, non-negotiably, hunt with the wind. No scent control system defeats a direct wind to a deer's nose at close range. Wind discipline is scent control. Everything else is supplementary. Ethical hunting doesn't change with the seasons, but the pressures on animals do, and ethical hunters account for that. In winter especially, I think hard about whether taking an animal is the right decision when the herd is already stressed and nutritionally depleted. In some areas, winter harvest is exactly what wildlife managers want to prevent overwintering starvation. In others, the population is already at carrying capacity and harvest in any season is beneficial. Know your local population status. Follow the law but also think beyond the law. Ethics is what you do when no one's watching. Pack out your trash. Don't leave gut piles where they'll create problems. Treat wounded animals with urgency and respect. The culture of hunting is shaped by the individual choices of every hunter in the field. Technology has genuinely transformed hunting scouting across all seasons, and resistance to it is mostly just nostalgia. Trail cameras are the single best intelligence tool available. A camera on a scrape, a trail, or a bait site gives you 24-hour data on what animals are present, when they move, and roughly how many there are. In fall, I run 8 to 12 cameras across my hunting area and check them every 10 to 14 days. In winter, cameras near food sources tell me if animals survived and where they're holding. In spring, cameras confirm shed deer are alive and showing me their early summer patterns. Pair cameras with Onyx Hunt or a similar mapping app and you have a seasonal intelligence system that would have been unimaginable 20 years ago. Use the tools. skill and technology are not enemies. Everything we've discussed so far applies broadly, but different species have very different seasonal profiles. White-tailed deer follow the fall rut model we described. Elk rut in September, earlier and more dramatic than deer. Mule deer rut in November and December. Wild turkey breed in spring. Waterfowl migrate in fall and return in spring, making them uniquely tied to weather windows. Upland birds like pheasant and grouse can be hunted from fall through late winter but become more concentrated as winter deepens. The principle is the same for all of them. Understand the animal's seasonal biological calendar, find its food and cover at each phase, and match your tactics to its current behavior. Generic hunting technique applied to the wrong behavioral phase is how people hunt for years and wonder why they struggle. I'm going to say something that doesn't get said enough in hunting media. Physical fitness is a hunting skill, not an optional extra. A skill. In fall, when you need to drag a deer a half mile, fitness matters. In winter, when you're breaking trail in knee-deep snow for 2 hours to reach a thermal area, fitness is critical. In spring turkey season, when you're cutting across terrain to get ahead of a gobbler, fitness wins encounters. The hunters I know who consistently punch their tags are in decent physical condition. Not elite athletes, but people who can walk hills for hours, carry a pack, and stay warm through sheer metabolic output. Start a simple program 3 months before your season. Long walks with a weighted pack. That's it. That single habit changes your hunting more than most gear upgrades. Taking an animal is the beginning of a responsibility. How you handle that animal from the moment it hits the ground directly affects the quality of the meat you bring home. The number one principle: cool the carcass quickly. In fall, overnight temperatures help. Gut the animal immediately, prop the chest cavity open, and let the night air do the work. In winter, you have the opposite problem. Meat can freeze before you get it out, making butchering difficult. In spring, warm temperatures mean you have hours, not days, before spoilage begins. Keep ice in coolers ready for the truck. Learn basic field butchering so you can quarter large game and get meat into a pack and out of the field efficiently. I've brought home excellent venison from all 3 seasons by respecting the meat from the first moment. If you want to introduce a young person to hunting, season choice matters enormously. Fall is the classic introduction. Mild temperatures, active wildlife, the excitement of the rut and colorful foliage. Turkey season in spring is arguably even better for beginners. The action is fast, the calling is interactive, and warm spring days are far more comfortable for a child sitting still for a few hours. Winter hunting I'd hold until a young person has a few seasons under their belt. The cold, the long waits, and the physical demands require a foundation of patience and interest that develops over time. Whatever season you choose, the priority is always the child's experience over your hunting success. One shot at a squirrel that a kid made entirely by themselves is worth more than any trophy. Here's the honest reality of seasonal hunting. Seasons don't always follow the calendar. A warm November delays the rut. An early snowstorm in October changes fall food sources overnight. A late spring means turkeys are 3 weeks behind their normal schedule. The hunters who struggle are the ones rigidly following a seasonal playbook. The hunters who succeed are the ones who observe what's actually happening in front of them and adapt. Your best information source is always the current conditions in the current woods, not what worked last year, not what the YouTube video said. Read the sign. Watch the animals. Adjust. I've had my best days hunting by throwing out my plan entirely because the woods told me something different was happening. Stay flexible. The woods are always right. If there is one universal truth across fall, winter, and spring hunting, it is this: patience is the most important gear you own. Every experienced hunter has a story about the day they almost left, almost packed up at noon, almost drove home at 3 p.m., and then the deer walked out at 3:45. Or the gobbler that had been drumming 200 yards away for 40 minutes finally committed at exactly the moment you decided to call it a day. I have a personal rule now. I never leave during the last hour of legal shooting light. No matter how cold. No matter how quiet, the last hour is magic in all 3 seasons. In fall, deer move before dark. In winter, animals feed at last light. In spring, gobblers make a final move before roosting. Stay until it's over. Then drive home. The most successful hunters I know don't think in seasons. They think in a continuous annual cycle. January, late deer and winter predator hunting, trail camera checks. February and March, shed hunting, early scouting, late ice fishing cross-training. April, spring scouting after melt, shed hunting final push. May and June, turkey season, bear season where applicable, food plot planting. July and August, intense summer scouting with cameras, velvet deer observation, habitat work. September, early archery, elk rut. October, rut prep, stand placement, intensive hunting. November, peak rut, best deer hunting. December, post-rut and late-season recovery hunting. The off-season is a myth invented by people who want a break from thinking about hunting. For the committed hunter, the season never ends. Let me give you 10 lessons that only come from time in the field. 1. Wind direction beats every other variable. 2. The animal is almost always closer than you think. 3. The first morning in a new stand is usually the best. 4. Cold fronts move deer better than any call or scent. 5. Checking cameras too often educates deer. 6. Your best spots are usually within a mile of the parking area that everyone ignores. 7. The shot you don't take is sometimes the best decision you make. 8. Other hunters are less of a problem than human scent left behind. 9. The hunting you do in the off-season determines your in-season results. And 10. The day you think you know everything about hunting is the day the woods will remind you that you don't. Stay humble. Stay curious. Let's bring it all home with a direct comparison. Fall hunting offers the highest activity levels, the most species options, the rut advantage, and the most comfortable conditions. It's the best all-around season. Winter hunting offers the best tracking conditions, the most concentrated animals, and a meditative challenge that tests you deeply. It's the most rewarding season for those who embrace difficulty. Spring hunting offers the most interactive experiences. Calling turkeys, glassing bears, reading fresh sign, and the best scouting intelligence for the year ahead. There is no best season. There is only the season you're in, the animal you're after, and your willingness to learn its language right now. Hunt all 3. You'll become a fundamentally different hunter than someone who only knows one. Thank you for watching this complete guide to hunting through the seasons. We covered fall, the rut, the food sources, the calling, the gear. We covered winter, the tracking, the thermal cover, the patience required to earn those moments. And we covered spring, the turkeys, the scouting, the new beginning that sets up everything that follows. Hunting is a lifelong education, and every season you spend in the field adds a layer to your understanding that no video can fully replace. Get out there, make mistakes, learn from them. Come back next season better. If this video helped you in any way, if it gave you one new idea, one tactic you'll try, one thing you'll do differently, do me one favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. They say it brings good luck on your next hunt. I'm not saying it's proven, but every hunter I know who subscribed and liked this video, they tagged out. Just saying. Good luck this season. Stay safe. And I'll see you in the next one.